Number 1, you think logic beats emotion. Companies worth billions understand this deeply. Nike does not sell shoes, they sell identity. Apple doesn't sell technology, they sell creativity, rebellion, and status. Today, I want to break down the 7 things science has proven that make people poorer over time. And at the end, I have a bonus number 8. That is the most critical one. Let's begin. I love this quote by former UK Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli. He says, "Most people die with their music still in them." That's certainly not wealth. It's pretty tragic. Knowing you have more inside, but you never become known for it. Feeling invisible despite being capable. Poverty is not always financial. Today, I want to break down the 7 things science has proven that make people poorer over time. And at the end, I have a bonus number 8. Number 1, you think logic beats emotion. Antonio Damasio, a neuroscientist, studied patients with damage to the emotional centers of the brain. What he discovered shocked researchers. Even though these patients still had high IQs and could logically analyze situations, they became terrible decision makers. Why? Because emotion wasn't interfering with decision making. Emotion was decision making. He's famously said, "We are not thinking machines that feel, we are feeling machines that think." Think about how most people try to persuade and influence others at work, in sales, in marketing, even in relationships. They bombard people with facts, with features, with data, spreadsheets, credentials. But humans do not act because something is logical. They act because something feels important. A startup founder can have the best product in the world and still fail because nobody emotionally cares. A brilliant employee can stay invisible because they communicate only with information and data instead of emotional resonance. And companies worth billions understand this deeply. Nike does not sell shoes, they sell identity. Apple doesn't sell technology, they sell creativity, rebellion, and status. Emotion creates movement. Logic just justifies it afterward. If you think humans make decisions only rationally, you will constantly lose to people who understand emotion. That will make you poor. Number 2, you think stories are less persuasive than facts. In one experiment, researchers found people were more likely to donate money to help a single starving child than millions of starving people. Think about that. One story, one face, one human more persuasive than millions. Because stories bypass resistance. Stories create mental stimulation. Your brain literally experiences stories almost as if they're happening to you. This is why stories are remembered far more than facts. Yet most experts communicate like instruction manuals, cold, clinical, forgettable. While someone else, less qualified, better at storytelling, gets the opportunity, gets the audience, gets the clients, gets remembered. Because stories organize information emotionally. Even Jesus taught in parables. Humans evolved around campfires, listening to stories long before PowerPoint existed. Storytelling is not fluff. It is survival technology. If you cannot transport people into a story, you will struggle to move them. You will struggle to get opportunity. Number 3, you choose short-term comfort over long-term gain. Behavioral economists call this present bias. Humans overvalue immediate rewards and undervalue future rewards. Your brain would rather scroll than study, sleep than build, avoid risk, consume than create. Why? Because your brain is optimized for survival, not greatness, not wealth. For most of human history, conserving energy meant being alive. And in modern life, comfort compounds into mediocrity. One of the most famous studies in psychology was the marshmallow experiment. Children who delayed gratification tended to have better outcomes later in life, more wealthy, higher test scores, better health, more success. Now, the study became more nuanced over time, but the core insight remains very powerful. Your ability to tolerate temporary discomfort changes your future. Every meaningful thing in life requires delayed payoff. Building a reputation, building wealth, building trust, building a skill, building a business. The tragedy is that most people quit before the compounding begins. They stop at month 1, year 1, attempt 2, and then they say, man, that stuff doesn't work at all. I'm just going to stop. No, you stop before the curve turned upward, before the hockey stick went up. You never know what's going to come next. So persevere. And if you don't, if you choose comfort, short-term over long-term, you will be poor. Number 4, you refuse to stand out because you fear judgment. This one runs deep biologically. For most of human history, being rejected by the tribe could literally mean death. So your nervous system still treats social rejection like danger. And that's why people water themselves down. They would rather hide their opinions. They would avoid visibility, blend in professionally, use corporate jargon, say what everyone else says. But here's the problem with that. If nobody notices you, nobody remembers you. And if nobody remembers you, opportunities cannot find you. Psychologists call this the von Restov effect. Distinct things are remembered. Average things fade into the background. Richard Branson understood this brilliantly. When British Airways struggled publicly with the launch of the London Eye, Virgin Atlantic sent up a blimp that says, BA can't get it up. The media exploded. Why? Because contrast captures attention. Different is memorable. Most people want extraordinary outcomes while behaving in a completely socially safe setting. That rarely works. Your fear of judgment may actually be costing you visibility, leverage, income, opportunity. Now, you don't have to be a Richard Branson. He is a master at standing out. He's done PR stunts for years that built him a billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar empire. But if you can suspend the idea that everybody is watching you, they are not. That's called the spotlight effect. They're not actually watching you. Everybody cares about themselves. And you stop fearing this judgment and go out there and be something that you are proud of and stick out amongst the crowd. You will reap the riches from that. Number 5, you are not memorable. This might be the biggest one of all because opportunities rarely go to the best person, especially in a B2B setting where 95% of the time businesses are just not looking to buy anything at the moment you're selling. They go to the person people remember at the moment of decision, the job, the referral, the partnership, the investor. Human beings make decisions through mental availability. What comes to mind first often wins. And behavioral scientists call this the availability heuristic. Familiarity creates trust. Exposure creates preference. This is why being talented in silence is economically dangerous. Someone less capable but more memorable dominates the market. Humans simply cannot choose what they can't recall. This is why branding matters. If people forget you, the market eventually does as well. So if you choose to be blending into the background, if you choose not to be memorable, if you choose not to intentionally be remembered, that will make you poor. Number 6, you believe your current reality is a fixed truth. Psychologist Martin Seligman discovers something called learned helplessness. When organisms repeatedly experience failure or lack of control, they eventually just stop trying to escape, even when escape becomes possible. Humans do this constantly. I'm just bad at business. I'm not charismatic. I'm just not creative. People like me don't become successful. Over time, these beliefs stop feeling like a story. They start feeling like facts, truths. And many of your limits are just interpretations, not laws of nature. The scary part is that your brain will constantly look for evidence confirming that identity you already believe. So if you believe, hey, I'm invisible, you avoid visibility. If you believe, yeah, I'm just bad with money, you will avoid financial responsibility. Do not choose to believe that your current state is the truth because it will sabotage yourself. Your identity becomes your economic ceiling. And often the biggest breakthrough financially is not about strategy. It's permission, your own permission to become someone different. Understand that your current reality is not the truth. But if you believe in that, you will be poor. Number 7, you think value means giving people more. This is one of the biggest mistakes experts make. They think more information equals more value. So they overwhelm people. More features, more slides, more complexity, more options. But research in behavioral science shows the opposite. Humans are cognitively overloaded. So when decisions become too complex, people freeze up. They don't do anything. Psychologist Barry Schwartz called this the paradox of choice. More choices often reduce satisfaction and action. And meanwhile, simpler messages just outperform. Think about Apple, Nike, Google. Simple wins because the brain loves cognitive fluency. Easy to understand feels safer, more believable, more trustworthy. People don't pay for more. People pay for certainty, clarity, status, relief. The consultant who simplifies complexity and points to one thing usually makes more money than the smartest person delivering a bunch of stuff because confused people simply do not buy. So if you choose to believe the more information and more options is more value, you're choosing a poorer future. Here's the bonus. Number 8, you don't understand human behavior. You see, everything you want requires someone to do something. Getting hired, getting promoted, leading teams, raising kids, building companies, creating movements. And yet, people spend most of their years learning technical skills and almost nothing about human behavior. But business problems are usually behavior problems, leader problems, attention problems, motivation problems. You don't learn this in school. You see, the people who understand human behavior have leverage because they can create conditions for things to happen. Whereas in today's world where AI is abundant, information is everywhere, if you don't understand what makes people tick, what makes people do what they do, you can't, even with all the knowledge and all the information at hand, get people to do something you want them to do. So in the end, if you choose to not understand and not figure out why we do what we do and influence it, you are choosing a route and a path to being poor. A route and path where your passions and your ideas and everything that you wish to do and make an impact on the world is not going to happen for you. So here you have it, all 7 + 1 things that you do that make you poor. These are the things that you can change, that you can learn, that you can practice over time, and you can use to get you to a world of wealth, because wealth is not just about money. It's about being fulfilled. It's about finding your gifts and giving it to the world. If you enjoyed this video, go check out my episode on LinkedIn. I'm consistently in the top 10 for branding and positioning on LinkedIn around the world. And in 2024, I was a top creator. In that video, I share 5 essential moves to grow your brand or business on the platform. Whether you're starting from scratch or finally ready to get serious and get some real results. So click here if you're on YouTube and click on the link to episode 76 if you're listening on your podcast player. I'll see you there.